Thank you again, everyone, for listening to the Culture Captures Spotlight podcast. I'm Joe, and today I'm being joined with Hatesonny.
You, what's good, yo?
Thanks for sitting down today with me for an interview. First time I've met you. I've never met you before. So pretty dope that we're going to be able to get a whole interview in today. For those listening, just kind of say like where you're from. Just give a little quick background about yourself.
So I'm from south side of Chicago, in the Greater Grand Crossing neighborhood. I'm 21 year old. I'm freshly 21. I'm just an artist, just make music.
When did you turn 21?
A month ago.
Oh shit, me too.
Wait, when's your birthday?
June 22nd.
You a Cancer or a Gemini?
So I learned today that or not today, but like last week that I'm on the border because I guess June 22nd is like the start date of Cancer. So it's like I technically have both. Since it's like it's a cutoff day. That's what someone told me. I don't really know, other much than that. I guess so. What about you? Are you Gemini? I assume.
I'm a Gemini. I'm early zone.
Cool. So yeah, you're from south side of Chicago. You were born and raised here?
Yep, lived here my whole life.
So how did you start getting into like music? Like who was the first person that kind of introduced you to making music, and when did you kind of decide like, yeah, this is something I want to do?
I guess I started making music when I was like 16, or really like 15. At this spot in Umedia, in Chicago, Umedia. I would pull up there from time to time. My homie Chris, he would just kind of fuck around on the mic and shit, just make some like quick little funny shit and shit. And we would just make music like that for a minute, just kind of fucking around and shit. You feel me? And then I just like all I ever did like as a kid, like during my adolescence, like kind of like zone out and like listen to music. Like I wasn't really like a socialite, and then like I didn't like talking to people. I was just like kind of tune out everything, just listen to music. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So one day, I just kind of like I had a click in my brain around. Like I was like 17. I'm just kind of like, what if I just like really just started making music for real? Like just started like I knew a bunch of producers and stuff like that. Just my homies that just made beats for fun and shit. I'm just like, so I started making music. So I just started making music, like, kind of like just making music, like, putting it on SoundCloud. I eventually let people in my school discover it, so they fucked with it. And then I was trying just putting together projects and shit. It's also, like, in school, not fucking with school. It's like, I need to, like, my own personal form of expression and shit. Start taking it, just have it to manifest its way out in the way of music. And then, like, I think I really started taking shit serious, like, for real, around, like, 2019, when I was, like, putting together, like, the Golden Shower project, because I was, like, kind of, like, experimenting with different sounds I had never fucked around with before. Trying to make shit sound, like, a lot less, like, I feel like prior to, like, that project, a lot of the shit I was making was just kind of, like, childish and, like, just kind of like childish, you could like hear it. I just kind of want to like keep expanding. You feel me?
Yeah.
I started like taking music for real. Started making some crazy ass songs and shit. And then now like in the last year I was kind of like locked in all year because of COVID and shit. So I had a lot of time to just like double down and like just keep working on music and shit. And now we here.
Right. And then, so how did you get introduced? Like, how did you get kind of enthralled into like a studio session? Like, when can you kind of think back to like your first session before like you even were putting together Golden Child and had put out some singles before then and stuff like that?
The first session, I can't really even. Well, the first studio session like I ever went to was at Umedia. It was just like that studio in like Umedia, and I just kind of put up my homie Zara within that bitch. I put up my homie Chris, who's in there kind of tweaking, just recorded some funny shit and shit. This is that bitch recorded like some funny shit. But like the first like studio session I remember and it probably isn't even my first session. Like the first session I like really like remember, it was the session for recording this song I got called 13. I was at this dude Noel's crib because I was at this dude Noel's crib. My homie Kaya brought me there, and we were just cooking up. I showed him this sample. I showed him this sample, and like I left the room for like 5 minutes. Come back and it's a crazy ass beat. He bounced out the beat. I come back like a day later, some shit like that, record the verse, and it's my first time really recording in front of people for real. So I was in the booth kind of nervous. So I'm just in that bitch like teeing up and all that shit, and like I'm in that bitch teeing up and shit like that. I'm thinking like I probably look goofy as hell right now, but I don't really get no fuck. I come out, motherfuckers like, "Hey, this alright." I'm like, yeah.
That's wild. So you just said you like when you started getting traction in school a little bit, that's when stuff like that was like kind of maybe one of the first times you really experienced like almost a fan base. Would you say?
I guess, yeah.
So where'd you go to high school?
I went to I hate talking about my high school because I hated my high school.
Yeah, all good. I get it.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna cap. But like, I went to school up east. I went to a private school because I couldn't go. I didn't get accepted into none of like. I didn't get accepted into none of like the schools I wanted to go to because I was a badass little kid. So I kind of like got sent to a private school and some punishment shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that shit was fucked up. But like when I was there, it was funny because my first taste of like a fan base came from something that had nothing to do with music.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny. Like my first taste of like a fan base, I used to just do like weird ass like, you know how like I don't know if you remember like the era like 2016 or 2015, 2014 where like motherfuckers was like doing like the VSEO cam filters and that type of shit. Mm-hmm. I was real heavy on that shit, so I had like a real strong like Tumblr following and shit.
Okay. And
it was funny as hell, and it was funny as hell. So like, and that was my first like a fan base. Like motherfuckers kind of fucked with me because I was just like also like this free like expression shit. I was always being myself, like, that type of shit. You feel me? Mm-hmm. No, so I had a fan off that, and then it kind of like translated over into the music. Like a lot of my quote unquote like fans that was like my fans like that shit is still like following me and like supporting me to this day.
No, that's super cool. And then you said like you had a lot of homies too that were like producers, yeah?
Yeah.
So how did you meet like those producers and stuff? Is that just kind of like being in Chicago? Because I feel like a lot of people just know people that make music.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, you know how shit like in the lunchroom, you like you know like you got the homies that would just like make beats on the lunch table and shit. You feel me? Mm-hmm. It's like early in the mornings and shit like that, we were just kind of like I was one of the kids that would get to school early as fuck because like I know if I get there early, I'll probably be hot. I'd be in that business kind of like in there with my music on, just kind of like mentally preparing myself for the day and shit. Mm-hmm. So I met my homie in that bitch named Jordan and Malachi. And they asked would just be playing beats on the lunch table and I just kind of like freestyle to it, but shit like that. And like they asked ended up like to being produced for real and shit like that. And those were like the first producers like I met for real. I ain't really ended up working with them on like real music. But then like it was me and my homie Chris. We ended up knowing people like from completely random ass walks of life that was all the same shit and just ended up making beats. They would email me beats and shit like that. And I'd be like, damn, it's a raw. I try to rap on that first, I was trash. And then like over time, you just kind of develop the skill and shit. You understand how to rap. You understand like your flow, your pockets and that type of shit. And then it starts coming to you. So I started like I would just meet people, like just really being outside and just really just kind of like trying to be social. I would just meet people and they just happen to make beats and they just, we would make the connection, make it make sense.
No, that makes sense, bro. And for those just kind of listening, who may not be like as familiar with your discography, describe your overall sound a little bit. Obviously, there's some versatility in it, and we're gonna get into that later. But kind of give like a elevator pitch or brief description of like your sound.
I like to be able to make music. I feel like just like the average like for lack of a better term, like the average Chicago kid or like Chicagoan can relate to. You feel me? Like just from any walk of life. You feel me? Like, so that's like, you know, first you gotta like just kind of understand like what makes like the Chicago experience, you know, real unique and like real like different from like other cities and shit like that. And you know, all of that comes like from a very personal standpoint. So it's like understand like what I've seen when I'm afflicted by the things I see that like in a pattern kind of. You feel me? Like the things we like the culture. You want to understand like the culture for real.
Yeah.
And like, kind of morphing like the Chicago culture with just like other sounds that I think is just kind of raw as hell. You feel me? Just kind of like morphing shit together, and it's like I don't know if that picks the picture, but like if I had to like give a general sound, I'd be making like a lot of like dark hard shit. I'd be making a lot of like I don't want to say like I'd be making some like real. I'd be flipping soul samples and like a bunch of different kind of ways and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm inspired by all like the drill shit. I'm inspired by like the Chicago like blues dance, the soul music, house music, all that shit. So it all kind of like comes together.
Yeah, so you pull from different genres, like, to kind of come up with your own style and your own sound.
Yeah, the most prevalent genres I listened to like during my adolescence was literally like drill music, soul music, house music, and that's just like being like a Chicago teenager. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. And you were kind of saying like with the Chicago culture and stuff like that. How different would you say like the Chicago culture? I mean, you know, I know a little bit just because I live in Chicago now, but like comparison to maybe like in Atlanta or New York or Los Angeles, just kind of like lay that down of like how, you know, like what you've experienced and stuff.
I feel like I can do a pretty good comparison and contrast to like Chicago, like New York and LA, because I've spent a substantial amount of time there.
Okay.
So like, I can't even say substantial. I spent like some weeks out there type shit. But like, from what I've noticed between like Chicago and like New York is just like real congested. So it's a lot of people like doing. It's just a lot more people. So like I don't really have like the best gauge on their culture for real. But like their music and like their variation of drill is a lot more like you ever been to New York?
Of course, man. Yeah, I'm from Boston, so I've been up there.
Yeah, so like you feel like the real like I guess the phrase like the hustle and like the bustle of the city, like how fast the city moves and shit.
Yep.
But you go out there, you play like a Pop Smoke song, like it makes a lot of sense that this music comes from New York. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know how to explain it like for real, but like it makes a lot of sense. Like you hear music that comes from Chicago, you listen to it in Chicago, it makes a lot of sense. Like it was made from Chicago. You feel me? So like. I feel like the thing about Chicago that makes like the culture different, we don't really reach out to like other places to like try to find like a sound or no shit like that or to be influenced by anything. Chicagoans are like real like Chicago over everything. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like in a lot of different ways, like on some like pride shit and also just like stuck in their ways shit. So it's like a positive connotation and like negative shit. You feel me?
Yeah, I do.
Like,
what about with LA?
Yeah, as opposed to like LA, it's kind of, and I'm not from LA, so I might be completely wrong. But like from what I was able to gauge, it kind of seems like LA is kind of like, at least like central LA, like where I was at. Like I'm sure like it's different, like you know parts of LA County and shit like that. But from like the city of LA, don't really seem like nobody is like, it's like it's different people like from there, but it seems like it's a combination of like people coming there from like other places. You feel me?
Yeah. No, like when I was in LA, like I was around people that were all claiming LA, but they were all from different places. Like they were from Texas, they were from Florida, they were from Nevada. Like it was weird. But they all were like super hard on like, yeah, we're LA, and it's like, well,
yeah, like you see people migrate to LA a lot. You don't really see a lot of people from like LA or New York migrating to Chicago. A lot of people from like Minnesota or like Detroit or like other Midwestern cities are migrating to Chicago because it's like the closest thing that we have to like the Midwest has like a real cultural hub. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like New York, like is like the biggest thing on the East Coast. Like LA on the West Coast. You got Atlanta, Houston, and parts of Florida in the South and shit. And like, you feel me?
Mm-hmm. And
so, like,
what kind of like significant time have you? Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying like Chicago is kind of awesome. Just like you know, kind of like it's weird because like we kind of operate kind of like we operate like a real small ass city, but it's big as fuck. You feel me? Like we definitely operate on that. Everybody know each other. You feel me? Like operate on that type of shit. You feel me? So like, and it's a lot of pride in that. It's a lot of pride in like being from Chicago, being from the neighborhood you from, and all that type of shit.
Yeah. No, I get you. My bad for cutting you off. But what kind of time did you spend like when you were in New York, and when you were in LA? Because like I feel like with a lot of Chicago artists I talk to, they never bring up LA. Like the people I'm around, they bring up New York because they understand the value in it. But like, I'm glad you bring up New York first too, because it's like I feel like that's where a lot of this shit kind of starts. At the end of the day. So why were you there? You know, and like, were you making music out there? Were you just like, you know, on some trip shit? Like, what were you on?
I was really there because like the real reason I was there because like my homie had a crib out there. I'm just like on some teenage shit. We had initially like planned like on some like, hey, we finna blow up and move to New York. And then bro got a crib in New York, and then you realize, and then we just also like, it's alright. It's alright, but it's like he had a crib out there, so I'll go out there, kick it with him, just be in the city, skating around, just kind of like just being out there.
Yeah, you said so. You were in Soho too.
My homie who stayed in Brooklyn, so he was in like Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
Nice, yeah.
So I was like, thing about music when I go to like places like when I go out of town, I like operate like I'm from the, or I like not operate like I like to do shit like as like I'm just I don't really like doing like over touristy ass shit. Yeah, I like to like really like observe like the culture and shit and like understand how shit operates and shit. You feel me? So I don't feel like not so I don't feel like an outsider and shit like that, but just so I understand, because I think it's value on like understanding how other cultures operate and shit like that.
What's your favorite part of New York?
I fuck with Brooklyn.
Yeah, heavy, bro.
I fuck with Brooklyn. I fuck with Harlem too.
Harlem's cool. I'm not too familiar with Harlem, but I was in Brooklyn a few years ago, and I loved it. Like I really like Brooklyn a lot. Like I think it's chill, but there's a lot of culture, man. There's so much to take in there, and like so many different walks of life you can find in Brooklyn. Like it's such a beautiful place.
Yeah, I wish I would like experience it before like it got like hella like gentrified and shit. But like, yeah, it is what it is. But like, it's still raw as hell in Brooklyn to me. Like, out of like New York, like it's definitely like my favorite borough out there.
Yeah, you just gotta go to the right spots with Brooklyn. Like, you gotta go to the areas where it's like low key, man, and people don't really know like where to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the spots where to be. Cause like I think I've had some of the best food in my life in Brooklyn.
Nah, like they had. I'm not gonna cut. It was one like Jamaican spot. They dry food out there crazy.
Yeah,
like it's crazy as fuck. It's good as hell.
And then why were you out in LA too? Was that like on some more music stuff or?
Yeah, that was mainly music. Like that was my first time like really going somewhere for like just the sole intent of music. You feel me? Mm-hmm. And then I realized, like, I like to, like, be able to, like, experience the places I'm at type shit. I'm just traveling shit. You feel me? I like to be able to, like, really experience the shit. So I just started going out in the city and, like, trying to, like, really experience the culture and shit. I'm like, I don't really fuck with LA for real.
Yeah, LA's a whole nother
like
beast.
And, like, that's, like, just the central LA. Like, you know, like, the real entertainment industry portion of LA. Like, I'm 100% sure, like, you go to, like, parts of LA County, like, you know, South Central or some shit like that, like, you would probably find some, like, I feel like a common thing with, like, motherfuckers from Chicago going to LA, they think that shit is, like, so ingenuine, people so fake and all that type of shit, but it's, like, pockets of LA. Like, you have to tap into, like, pockets of people who, like, you know, have the same code of morals and, like, code of, like, you know, authenticity as you do and shit like that. You feel me? It's like, you feel me?
Yeah.
It's pockets. It's, like, as opposed to, like, Chicago being, like, real cliquey and to be, like, real, like, cliquey and shit like that. LA is like it's a lot of different networks, like it's a lot of different extensive networks of different kinds of people. So it's just like you have to just find the right network of motherfuckers who you like enjoy being around and enjoy doing shit with, and like, you know, align and shit, putting shit together and that type of shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
But it's weird out there too.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
It's weird shit.
It's a cool spot. It's like, I don't know, for me, again, like, I'm an East Coast kid. I grew up there my whole life. I moved to Chicago, like, a few years ago. So it's like, to me, like, just seeing mountains in downtown, that shit was just, it's just so raw to me. And, like, the weather's obviously a big plus, but like you just said, bro, it's like the people, like
Yeah, like,
there's some wild ass shit that just be going down
bro,
in LA, bro.
what's crazy is like first 2 days of my most recent trip to LA. First 2 days I'm out there, I'm like, damn, I could live out here.
Yeah.
Third day, I'm like, I don't like it out here no more.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't really like it out here no more. Like the weather is beautiful, like the scenery is beautiful, food decent. You can like walk around like coming from like the south side of Chicago. It's like, damn, I could like really live out here. Then you be like start talking to motherfuckers like, damn, I don't like motherfuckers out here.
That's funny. So Golden Child, that's the album you dropped last year.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. That was the first big album you put out, right?
I was like, yeah, it's like my third mixtape type shit. Like, I put out 2 mixtapes a while ago. The first one was Bad Luck. The second one was Good Luck. But then like I kind of like in my head kind of came into my own more on Golden Child. You feel me? So it was the first time I put something out to like really put something behind it. You know?
Yep.
But that was I be calling Golden Child like my baby. I put like everything I had into that shit, like in a lot of different ways, like literally everything.
Mm-hmm. Talk about that a little bit. Go into some more detail about how much, almost, I don't want to say sacrifice, that might be kind of the wrong word for it, but just like...
Like on some very real shit, like, I still do this shit to this day, bro. Like, I was losing days of sleep over, like, just overthinking, like, the songs and, like little portions of, like, the songs and shit like that. And, like, trying to make sure, like, it's perfect to me and shit like that. Trying to figure out who I wanted to be featured on it, trying to figure out, like, the shit I wanted to talk about, trying to figure out all that shit, trying to figure out the visuals, trying to figure out all this shit. Like, literally, like, just, like, hours of, like, work just going into it, just, like, and just, like, pushing myself to, like, really experiment outside, like, the boundaries of, like, what I'm comfortable in and shit like that, you feel me? Like, just polishing my skills like a writer, polishing my skills as, like, just trying to be a better musician, all that shit, you feel me?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to, like, that's what that shit was to me. I went, if you trying to be like real transparent, I went $6,000 in debt making that shit.
Damn. So you went in the negatives to make it.
But like I ain't really getting no. I really didn't get no. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna make this shit happen. I don't care.
Yeah.
I really ain't getting no fucking. It paid off. You feel me? Like it definitely ended up paying off. But like, I remember at the time, like, I was just like so like, cause it was one of them things, bro. You feel me? Like I ain't really want to do school and shit for real. But like, cause I couldn't really like, I ain't had no like my people's ain't had no bread to send me away to school and shit. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So like I was doing like community college and shit, trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay for that shit and all that shit. So I'm thinking like, what is my like real skill set? And, like, what do I want to do? And I'm like, all right, it's music. So I'm gonna put like everything I have into this music shit. I'm not gonna like bullshit this shit. I'm gonna put everything I got into it. And then like it was a real hectic process. Sometimes shit went, like it was some like shit that was like overall it was like a really fun process and experience, shit like that. It got really stressful at times. It's just like at the end of the day, it's like work. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's just work. So it's just like doing like the ups and downs of like having like, ups and downs of trying to like get into a job you love. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To a career path you love and shit. You feel me? And then you take it on the chin. The biggest lesson that project like taught me was like when you want something bad enough, you gonna figure it out.
Yeah, man, it's really like that's some being a man shit, you know.
Like really, like on some, and that's what like that, on some like that shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, and that project was like on some like I was working on that shit from like ages 18, because I made damage control when I was 18. So from when I was 18 until I was like, put it out when I was 20.
Dang.
That whole 2-year period was just like me coming to trying to find myself and all that shit.
Damn.
And, you feel me?
Yeah, man. To trying to build up a journey of it, like the start of it in terms of like, okay, this is like when I'm going to go start making Golden Child. Like, you know, what was the first song you knew was going to go on the project and stuff like that?
So I'm going to just start from like 2018.
Perfect.
And it was like, I had this job I remember one night I was just walking around like the perimeter where I was working at outside, because I worked outside.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking around listening to music, and I was just thinking, like, bro, I want to like do this shit. Like, all these projects is raw as fuck. Like, I'm listening to raw as fuck to me. Like, and I have like this. I just felt like this real strong devotion to like make a project. So I started hitting up my homies who I know make music and shit like that, who wanted to make music. I'm like, bro, I really want to make a project, bro. Like, I really want to do this, bro. I don't want to do this regular ass shit, though, bro. I just want to do this shit. And then I started, like, from that point, I made the first two mixtapes, Bad Luck and Good Luck, kind of also like experimentation, trying to figure out what sounds I was going to fuck with and shit like that. I put them out on some, like, SoundCloud shit. I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing for real. I put them out because motherfuckers was telling me I should put it out. And then from those two projects, I had found like a bunch of different lanes I could tap into. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, I found like a lot of different lanes I could like tap into for real. And then like after that, I put out like an EP. I found some new lanes I could tap into. And now I started just focusing on like songs, like the importance of making like a good song, like what there really means to make a good song. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like all the way into like 2018 until like the end of 2019, I was just kind of really just honed in, like trying to figure out like what it is that like what do all of these songs that I listen to have in common? Like, why are these so good to me? And then like the realization I came to was like they just reflections of like, you know, shit that motherfuckers go through. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and like whether that be a positive or negative or just like an intermediate, or just like either like I'm listening to a song that turned me up, it turned me up for a reason. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the emotion that's conveyed through like the music and all that shit, whether it be simple, whether it be intricate, all that shit, whatever. So I'm just like, all right, let me figure this shit out, because I just want to figure this shit out because I want to be able to listen to the shit I listen to. I don't want to make no shit that I ain't finna. I don't want to make nothing I'm not finna listen to. You feel me? So I think the first song I made from Golden Child, if I'm not tripping, I gotta think. It was high-key, it was Damage Control. Because when I made that song, I ain't even really fuck with it. The intro track, I ain't really even fuck with it for real. But, like, I played it a couple times in different scenarios, and, like, everybody else besides me fucked with it. And I'm like, it was funny as hell. So I'm like, bro, you like this shit? Because I'm like, this lackadaisical ass shit. But then, like, it started to grow on me, and I started, like, to understand why people liked it. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And I went back on it, figured out what I didn't like about it, tweaked it. I was like, all right, I'm comfortable putting this out now. And then like sat with it for a minute. I ain't know where I was gonna place it or if it was gonna go on a project. Then I made Kill Bill, and Kill Bill was just kind of like, I'm not gonna cut, like I'm from the south side of Chicago type shit. So like I'm growing up hearing all like motherfuckers dying, getting killed, gunshots, all that type of shit. So like that song was kind of like an explosive for me. I was just kind of like really like I was once popping shit, like talking about shit, and then two, I was just kind of like, it was a reflection of like the shit I was hearing at the round time. You feel me? I'm hearing all these motherfuckers dying, all shit. That's like, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing all this motherfucking shit, and then like at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to overwhelm the motherfuckers listening to this shit, so I'm just gonna like sprinkle in a little, like, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's funny, bro. It's funny explaining this shit because I'm like visualize this, bro. I'm in my room, sitting on my bed, mic in front of me, just like pondering hard as hell.
Yeah.
Let me figure this out, because I want to be like real intentional. Like, I want this to be real intentional. I want to make sure like I'm not posturing no type of way. You feel me? I don't want to motherfucker. You feel me?
Yeah.
I want to be like real intentional with the shit. So I'm like, I figured it out. Figured out my verse. Verse was the first thing I did. Then I'm like, what the fuck do I want the hook on this bitch to be? And I'm thinking, like, what am I thinking about right now? Like literally lost, like, just in my bedroom, like, what's going on around me? I'm in that, fuck it. What does the beat make me think about, too? I'm like, fuck it. Kill, 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 build, build, build. I'm like, fuck it. That's the hook.
Yeah.
Fuck it. That's the hook. And they're like, all right, it's catchy. Motherfuckers don't remember it. I remembered it. And then I'm like, okay, sound good. We gonna keep it. I sent it back to producer Port Vita. He fucked with it. We chopped it up, but we sent back a couple like mixes for it and shit like that, and then had that one. And then I don't remember like the exact order in which I made songs after that.
Yeah,
But
cool.
I do recount like specific stories, like Vince, like like on song Go Rock Go, like me and my homie Nate, he was in like his home studio at the time. He was just bumping Vince music, G. He was just bumping his music. We was like, bro, this nigga hard. We gotta work with him. Like, you gotta work with him for real. So I reached out to him. I just DM'd him. I told him like, hey, bro, pull through. He like, I bet, drop low. He said you finna pull up. I'm like, he pulled up a couple of days after. We had a song ready for him. So I'm like, bro, we gotta use like, cause he has a real distinct voice, real distinct like style. So we trying to like use his style for like, in a way to like really bring out what there is to bring out in the song we had. You feel me?
Yep.
So we had him pull through. He did his shit. Folks essentially like brought the song to life type shit. Had that shit, and then me and Vince locked in since then. After that, we had that song Stunner with Whammy and my homie Drew. We was in my homie Gus' crib, just cooking up. I had the song, and initially I was going to get some other motherfuckers on me. But then my homie Drew he was like, bro, let me hop on this. I got a verse for it. I'm like, shit, I bet. Because I knew Drew was raw. I just didn't think he was going to fuck with the beat when I like made it, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think he was going to fuck with that shit. He do his verse. I'm like, oh, shit, that shit hard. I'm like, shit, that shit hard. And then Whammy, like, I knew his ass to be able to, like, hop on that bitch with the energy and shit. So, put that shit together. Boom. That shit was over with.
Yeah, how'd you meet Whammy Mo?
How'd I meet? I just met Whammy just kind of, like, on some being outside shit, too. Yeah. Like, I just, on some, we had mutual homies and shit. And he just be outside and I run into him and we just chop it up about making music and shit. We had worked on a couple songs prior to that. And then that one, we was just like, yeah, we finna use this one. But yeah.
Cool.
And after that, shit, what song was after that? That song, Manic come after that, I believe. Yeah, Manic come after that. I made that shit on some just like, in my homie Gus' crib, just like really reflecting on some, like my deepest thoughts type shit. Just like really reflecting, just thinking. Just put that shit on the beat. I didn't really want to put that shit out there first because I thought it was like too deep in my head type shit. But then I'm playing it for motherfuckers. They really like they going through like the same shit I'm going through type shit. And I'm like, like it needed like the project needed that heart. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like that. Same piece of me, my homie Reese sent the beat. I wanted to fuck with it, put some horns on it, wrote a verse to it. Had my homie Gus tweak it. Boom, song done. Same Mark, Thelonious Martin. Shout out D'Lo. He sent me a pack of chops. I just like pack of like just chops. And I was in the studio one day with producer named Sheriff. I had showed him like the chop. He was like, bro, like, yo, I'm fuck with it. He added the drums and shit over it. I hopped in the studio. I hopped in on the booth, recorded that verse in a couple minutes, had that shit over with. I'm like, yeah, that's it. After that, we got moved. Me and Serena like had a session. She laid down like this hook. I laid down the verse. We fucked with it, tweaked it. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And then like a lot of like the process for a lot of these songs was like real straightforward. But like I remember like Moonchild specifically, like that was like an actual process because like I had a sample. I showed it to my homie Luke. It was like this old song that my auntie I wrote back on like in her days. She used to make music and stuff like that. And I had heard it a lot growing up. I'm like, let me add this shit and let me show Luke this sample and see what we can make of it. He started flipping this motherfucker in the studio, bro. I shit you not, my head was spinning. Like, I'm like, I ain't even expect this shit to sound like this. Like, what the fuck?
That's wild. And
like,
go ahead.
I was just saying, like, that shit ended up coming out crazy. Like, we was experimenting all kind of shit, bro. I ain't never seen Luke hold a guitar before that, bro. Like, he pulled out a guitar, was just like fucking around with the strings and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Always handed me the bass guitar. I don't know how to play like the bass guitar. I'm just fucking around plucking at the strings and shit. I accidentally caught like a little bass groove and shit. And then his ass like really he refined it. And then wrote my verse, hopped in the studio, did some post production and composing and shit like that, and boom, it was done. And then S class and 24K, I just wanted to rap, so I just rap. Closed out the project. And like I really think like the project was done about 2 months before I put it out, I was just kind of like trying to like figure out the cover art situation. I had like 15 different cover arts that I was trying to figure out between. I'm like, I don't, and like I got to a point where I'm just like, I don't think none of these is really capturing like the essence of the project. And I came across the dude Femzwood on Twitter, just kind of like fucked with his artwork, saying the project he fucked with it. He had him do the cover art, and then boom, project was done. Put it out.
Damn, that's wild. That's really wild. So then, like, obviously, like, that album has got so many different, and like I said earlier, like, the versatility on there is nuts, because there's different styles of music, I feel like, that you captured and put out on that project. Would you say how, like, you're tapped into your emotions, and how just, I feel like, involved you are with every little process of making an album there is, like, attached to it? Would you say that helps make your music so versatile?
Yeah, because I don't like looking at like projects or something like this is going to be like a rap album or no shit like that. I just like, when I make music, I'm just thinking like, how do I feel right now? Like, and how does this emotion translate into music? Like, in whatever form it is, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
That's what real music is, you feel me? It's just like conveying the emotion, conveying the feeling, getting other people to like, you know, not to relate, but like to really get the feeling across, you feel me, to translate it. So it's just like, alright, if I'm emotional about some shit, and I feel like I'm writing some shit, or I feel like the vibe or like essence I can capture fits more like an alternative scheme or some shit like that, I'm gonna do that. If I feel like I can do it and get shit across in like a more like boom bap or like soulful way, I'm gonna do that. If I feel like I can get this feeling across in like a very abrasive, high energy way, I'm gonna do that. I don't really like to box myself into like only being able to do one thing or one style of thing.
And then like to move into this year, you've put out a few different singles. And what are some other plans for the year that you have for the rest of 2021? Like, how are you kind of approaching the rest of this year music wise?
Well, I've been working on this project for like damn near like this whole year so far. Like, it's called, like, I've been teasing it a lot. It's called All Gas No Breaks.
Okay.
I've been teasing that shit for like the past like, it's July since like I've been teasing that shit since like April.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just been like teasing that bitch a little bit because I be making music like so much, like I be having so much to show people. Like I be making so much. I'm literally sitting on like at this point like 150 early songs. So I'm just like be just dropping hints sometimes. So I'm gonna put that out at some point soon. It's gonna be like a next mixtape type thing, and then after that, I'm gonna put out like what I guess would be classified as like a quote unquote like an album.
Cool. So we got another project down the pipeline for you this year. Okay. You were saying earlier that about one of your songs, you made it and no one else, everyone fucked with it except you. So what is that kind of process like when you're making your own music and you know you are probably the biggest critic of your own shit, right? And it's like you don't fuck with it, but everyone else is telling you to like put it out or put it on this. Like how do you kind of approach those situations? Like, do you have to trust the people around you or your gut?
It's a thing of both, because like, you know, you feel me, you want to be able to enjoy the music you make with other people, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But also like you also like as an artist you want to be particular in how you want to approach things. So it's a thing of both. Like you have to have like this level of artistic integrity to the point where like you know what you want to do. Like, you know, if I want to make a specific kind of song, I was like, I know I want to make this kind of song. I know I don't want to do this with it. I know I want to do this with it, and like achieve that first. I can make sure like it's solid to you first, and then when you feel like it's like solid to you, that's when I start showing it to other people. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like garnering opinions and doing like kind of crowdsourcing and shit, like just seeing how people feel about it, how people are perceiving it. But at the end of the day, like I kind of like also don't really give a fuck about how other people perceive it, because it's not. I don't really make music for like. I make music for like, you know, people who want to listen to it. You feel me? Like I don't really like do it for like anybody but the people who gonna listen to it. Like I like to make music that like me and my direct circle can listen to. You feel me? Because like those are the people who I like listen to music with the most. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, you feel me? Like if I want to make music that like, you feel me? Like I don't know how else to explain it.
No, I get what you mean, bro. Like you're making, like, you want to please the people around you too. And like,
it's more, like you want to be able to play your shit in the car on the aux and have motherfuckers tee it up. You feel me?
Yeah, of course. No, I get that for sure.
Exactly.
I kind of want to transition into what you do outside of music, you know, and just kind of like being yourself when you're not in the stew or you're not going through packs. And trying to make plays for like putting a project together. What, you know, you mentioned when you were in New York, when we were talking about that a little earlier, you were saying you would skateboard. Like talk about some hobbies you have and shit, like some stuff you like to collect, like, are you into fashion, or you into sports, like all that.
Bro, I'm trying to get raw with skating, bro. Last time I got on the skateboard, I almost busted my shit recently for it.
Oh shit.
I've been slacking, bro. I gotta get back active with it. But now on some very real shit, like I like to do like a big hobby of mine. Like, I'm a collector, bro.
Okay.
Like I'm a real big collector. Like I know down the line I want to get a car collection. Like right now my fixation is cologne. Like I got some old bad shit. I got a decent little cologne collection. I'm trying to. There's a couple like pieces of cologne I want to get that I don't got yet, but my shit looking decent right now.
You like smelling good when you had to pop out?
I like smelling good when I'm in the crib.
Yeah, I feel okay. I mean, I have like 4 or 5 different colognes personally. Dior, all that shit. Like we gotta get the name brand stuff too.
I'm make cologne at some point, G.
What'd you say?
I want to make my own cologne at some point, bro.
One of my homies actually has his clothing brand. It's called Ponce de Leon. He makes his own. He's trying to yeah, he's gonna be making his own shit. I can send it to you if you want it.
Tell him to tap me in.
Yeah, say less. Say less. He's smart as fuck with it, bro. He makes like high quality shit. I can tap you in if you're trying to make your own colognes.
Like literally tell him to tap me in because we can make some shit shake.
Say less. Do you collect, like, are you into fashion and stuff like that? Are you into like streetwear or sneakers?
I'm like into it. I'm still just trying to find like I'm real specific about like fashion, G. Like sometimes, and I'm real specific about that type of shit. 'Cause, like I have like pieces that I buy, but I'll wait to wear them until like I have a complete fit. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like I buy pieces on some like I can visualize the fit I put together, and I just like wait until like I find like the perfect shit that accents the shit perfectly. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like I'm real meticulous, and sometimes I'll be annoying the fuck out of people when it comes to that shit. I'm real meticulous, bro. But like, I like fashion a lot. I just be trying to like, I hate shit like looking like tacky, if that's the right word. Like I hate that type of shit.
Yeah, no, I got you. And
like name brand shit and like designer shit is all cool, but like it don't really mean shit if you don't know how to wear that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and everybody be saying that shit, but a lot of motherfuckers say that shit and still be like partaking in that shit. But like you can have like a $5,000 fit and that shit be terrible.
It's true.
And I'm just trying not to fall into that.
Yeah, you don't want to overdo yourself type thing.
Like, bro, I can pop out in a black t-shirt and some regular pants. If I put that shit together right, I'll be styling on niggas, bro.
Yeah, he said you can get away with basics, and you just don't want to overthink it too hard.
It just comes down to how you carry yourself, man.
Yeah.
It just comes the way you carry yourself and like whether or not you can put that shit on, man. There's a lot of like pieces that you can get that'll look raw, but if you don't know how to put that shit on, it's not gonna look raw.
Yeah. And like, do you watch like sports and stuff? Or you into like?
I'm really into boxing.
Okay. Yeah, you missed me with boxing. I don't really follow it too much, to be honest. But I respect it. Yeah, I respect it because when I grew up with a kid, he's from Europe, and like boxing like runs in his family and shit. Like his grandpa and his dad taught him, so he was going to like the gyms and shit. And like I know how to. Like I've had little like basement matches in high school, but like I was never like a. Huh?
Yes, you said don't get it fucked up. I don't box for it, but I'll beat your ass.
Yeah, bro. Like I know how to hold the fist right, and like I know how to block my face and all that shit. And I never lost one, so
Bro. For
Yeah.
sure. Talk to them, bro.
Yeah, you know, I gotta let people know, bro. But no, that's cool. Like, did you play sports growing up at all? Or, like, were you involved in like shit like that or nah?
I played football briefly. I ran track in high school. I boxed for a little bit, and only sport that I swam. Like I swam for a little bit. Like I wasn't like really into it. I didn't like doing that shit for real. But like the sports I was really into, like I was into football, I was into track, and I was into boxing.
Yeah.
I always like growing up, like my mom, all my uncles and shit would tell me like I'm built for basketball, but I never really got into it for real.
True. Do you watch basketball at all or nah?
I really like I only keep up with basketball for like when like a team I fuck with is like doing well.
Okay.
Like if I'm a Mavericks fan, G.
Okay. Little
Like, I'm
Luka
a-
Doncic guy?
Huh?
Doncic guy?
Shit. Oh yeah. So like when the Mavericks stopped doing well, I stopped watching.
That's funny as hell. Oh, that's cool. So they just hired you fuck with Jason Kidd as their coach or nah?
I don't know, bro. Like I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I still gotta think. I gotta think on this, motherfucker.
That's true. No, that's cool though. I respect it. Definitely not. I didn't expect you to say that, but that's raw. I like that. I'm a huge NBA fan, so I can talk about that shit for days. What are some other things you do like when you got like downtime and shit? Like what do you just like to do when you're not making music?
Probably I'd be occupying my time with music all the time, just because like it's something I like to do.
Yeah.
Like always like have to like be making a song to like just like I'll study songs like where I'll listen to like I can look at my library right now. I was listening to the K-Shot album one day, bro. Like I was like really just like listening to his shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, first I listen to it like passively, and then I'll be like, damn, like this shit actually like simple as hell, but it's so raw. Like you feel me?
Yeah.
I'll just like listen to music for the purpose of like studying it and just like appreciate it. Cause like, I'm a music geek. I'm an audiophile.
Yeah, music geek. So, like, did you grow up around a lot of music and shit like that? Like, were you, like, just hearing a lot of different music? Like, how would you say you were a music geek, other than, obviously, being an artist and just being kind of enthralled in the music industry?
Like, when my pops was, like, young, like, when he was, like, around how old I am now, he was a DJ.
Okay.
Like, he still today got a fat-ass record collection. Like, old records.
Yeah, vinyls and shit.
Spinning music, like he still got his DJ set. He be spinning music in our basement and shit, just like practicing his DJ shit. So he always like exposed me to different styles and sounds of music, and then so I really learned about like music from him. I learned about like what music can do to like a motherfucking mood from my pops. You feel me?
Yeah.
Around like, and then my mom on the other spectrum, she really only listen to like. My mama don't really be listening to like hella music for her. She listen to like soft rock and shit, and that's about it.
No, that's cool, man. My parents didn't really listen to like hip hop and rap, but my dad listened to a lot of different of like the older shit from like the 70s and the 80s and the 60s.
Yeah, I was listening to all that shit. He put me on like gangster rap. He put me on like soul music, house music, all that shit.
No, that's right.
My dad I remember it was a period of time my dad would put me on like certain drill music shit when it came out.
That's funny as hell. Like he was did he put you on to like earlier drill and shit?
Like, bro, the first time I heard like, who was it? Like my dad showed me what's his name? P. Rico.
Really?
Yeah, my pop showed me P. Rico a day.
That's funny as hell.
It was funny because I knew who folks was. Like I knew his music. And then one day my pop's like, you heard this song? I'm like, yes. Wait, why? I'm like, why? Listen to this.
That's funny. Shit, man, I don't really got any other questions for you. I think we've kind of nailed everything here. Tell people where they can follow you on social media. Tell people they can find your music.
So it's Hatesonny everywhere, man. HATESONNY, man. Hatesonny everywhere. All right, like literally everywhere.
Go check out his music. Go check out his social media. Thank you again for listening to this episode of the Culture Capture Spotlight podcast. Tune in next week for a new episode.